Oh, that's a little bit hot. Hey, everybody. What's going on? I know I have been away for a while. If you haven't seen my update video from a couple of days ago, I have been away in Europe, and I have some things to report from that visit that I had over there. Some things that you wouldn't think that I would be surprised anymore, discovering that the American media has been lying to us. But I still get surprised, after going to China and finding that the police weren't beating people down in the streets and there weren't tanks rolling around. And in the most recent one, the story that inflation is worse in Europe. Now, it might not be true across the board, but my experience has shown that that is not true. That inflation is definitely, well, at least prices. I'll say prices on food, prices on stuff, pretty much everything. It's a lot worse here in the United States. In fact, I'd say that here in the United States, we're paying a premium for lesser quality stuff. I don't know what's going on with that, but excuse me. I better drink more coffee. Or is that going to make it worse? I don't know. Somebody has told, no, it's Coca-Cola. Somebody said if you drink Coca-Cola on a hot day, it's going to mess up your voice. But I don't know about coffee. Good coffee. I have been spoiled over the last little bit, of course, in Europe, eating very high-quality food, very good stuff. People over there, they don't eat the crap that we eat. For example, the fancy cheeses that they have. People always talk about France and fancy cheese and all of that. Well, it's very inexpensive over there. Here in the United States, however, if you want to pay for our fake processed orange cheese, you pay a premium that they would never pay. And they would laugh at our fake cheese. They don't typically eat that stuff. Now, I did see it one time in a supermarket that had a section for American food. I guess if you find yourself living abroad and you start to miss some of those processed foods, it's still there. You can go get it if you're in the right place in a big city. The other thing that I found astonishing was the number of small businesses. Yet again, I have been surprised. Just like with China, the economy is alive with small businesses. You go through Paris or any of these smaller French cities, and you will see endless small businesses, little shops, restaurants, all over the place, all operating. I know people love to go to the sidewalk cafes or whatever it is that they have over there. But and I understand my face looks a little different. I went to Europe and my beard did not come back at the request of my wife. And I have mixed feelings about that too. By the way, I'm not sure if I like this. Of course, I can always grow it back. It'll take some time. But I think that I probably just see myself without the covering, and I have to face myself in the mirror and say, yep, you've gained some weight since you've been back in the States. Maybe if I keep it shaved off, it'll be a little bit more apparent, and I will stop eating bad food. But that's a hard thing to do here in the United States. The food is generally bad. But that's not really what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to report those things because I found that inflation, the word that was coming out of the American media was that inflation is far worse in Europe than it is in the United States. I suspect they were telling us that so that people would feel better about the horrible prices that we're dealing with. Prices are much better. I've been in several European countries, several EU countries, and I can tell you the prices are far better there than they are here. I don't know how they pull that off. I don't know what they're doing because the United States seems to be the king of globalism and shipping jobs and manufacturing outside of the United States. So I'm not entirely sure how paying for the same things that you get in America cost less in Europe than they do in the United States when they're all coming from the same place. But somehow they managed to pull that off. So yeah, that's a lie, at least as far as the places that I went. There may be some places. I understand the UK is having some serious problems. They seem to reflect the same kinds of problems that we're having here in the United States. Maybe a little bit worse. I don't know because I didn't stop in the UK. But yeah, as far as the EU, they're not experiencing the same kinds of problems. They're certainly not looking, well, who knows? Maybe they are now. Maybe that's the new trend when it comes to global warming and all of that. Yeah, global warming isn't a thing anymore. It's climate change. To get rid of gas stoves. I heard about that. Joe Biden, boy, he's probably just grabbing at straws, trying to find anything to get the eyes off of him. Boy, this whole thing with these documents. Yes, the documents that they found in his garage. I understand that he's had some Obama-era classified documents just sitting in his house They keep finding him, and it's the same house that Hunter Biden supposedly was renting from him for around $50,000 a month. And wow, just imagine the kind of people that would have had access to this stuff. Just absolutely insane. Just sitting in the garage next to the Corvette. Wow. But again, when it comes to this, I have already heard from people on the left, this is not the same thing as what Donald Trump did. And I'm here to tell you, if you are on the left, I'm not here to defend Donald Trump. He's a billionaire and he can do that for himself. I don't really care. I don't care if it's the same or not the same. But it is not the same, because Donald Trump was the president and he had, the power to declassify documents. Joe Biden was the vice president, and who knows what he was doing taking these things home. I guess he said he's taking his work home with him or something like that. He wasn't allowed to do that. And he was well aware that he was not allowed to do that. And I'm sure that the endless number of people around him were probably aware that he wasn't supposed to do that. And, well, he did it. And now everybody is coming after him on the left and the right, apparently. It's probably a good idea to get him out of there. I don't know what we're going to do with Kamala Harris as president, but maybe she can get caught up in all of maybe they'll find some documents in her garage, too. Who knows? They'll find some other impeachable offense that she's guilty of. Dereliction of duty, perhaps. She's supposed to be in charge of the border, right? And that's a miserable failure. But yeah, the Biden documents, it's not the same as what Donald Trump did. He was allowed to do it. Joe Biden was not. I don't really care to get involved in the politics. It was great being in Europe and not dealing with politics, but hey, we're back in the United States. And already I see people talking about, it's like the first thing that people go to anymore when they're looking for friends or people that they want to associate with. They want to determine what their political leanings are before they hang out. That's absolutely insane to me. Can you imagine that? You share every other interest that there is, but maybe your politics are a little bit different. So there's that divide that can't be crossed. How did we come to this? I totally don't understand. I've had friends, of course, on both sides, especially living abroad where that's not as much of an issue. One of my good friends in China was an absolutely hardcore communist, the kind that was outside of the U.S. Embassy in his home country protesting all the time, that believed in all of these things, and we got along great. And if you have followed the channel, you know that what my political leanings tend to be a little bit different than that. I'm not a hardcore communist. I believe that in an ideal world, communists, as long as they're not interested in spreading communism or forcing it on others, can come together and form communes, and that's perfectly compatible with me not doing that. They can do that and pool their resources, and I can do what I want. But it's remarkable how messed up things are here in the United States at present. I look at the situation, and I suspect it has something to do with corporatism. Our government seems to have been hijacked by corporations who, for some reason, even though they're not people, count as people and are able to influence the political leanings of the country, I guess, political movements. I could go on and on about that. I'm going to have to make a separate video about my feelings on this whole corporatism stuff. It's got to end. But I wanted to get this out so that you guys could see that, hey, I'm back in my house, at least for the time being. I'm not sure how long I'm going to be here in the United States, but for the time being, I will be able to do my shows. I'll be on tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, so if you are interested in joining the live show, of course, I will be there. When I'm recording this video, on the day that I'm recording the video. Hopefully, I'll be there on other days too, but today for sure, I will be there. And I hope that you'll join us. I love the conversations that we've had. I've missed having those conversations since I've been in Europe, but it was just impossible. Up there in the Alps, the internet, the internet in general, my encounters with the internet in Europe have been quite awful. It's cheap. It's really, really cheap to get internet over there. But the internet, it's garbage. It's not the same. I guess... I don't know if it's subsidized or what they do. Maybe the internet is subsidized, so they don't invest in cutting-edge technology because, well, good enough is good enough, and people are satisfied with cheap internet that's good enough. versus the United States, where it's like it's got to be, you know, so fast that I can upload this 100 gigabyte video clip in minutes or less. I need to have the same as a broadcast studio, broadcasting, you know, 4K television signals or something. I do need that. I need that. I need that in my home. I have to for my games. I don't actually play online video games, but once upon a time, you know, lag was the enemy of the world. Anyway, I'm rambling on now, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Hopefully, again, we see you guys tonight at the live stream. Other than that, I'm going to put another video together talking about this corporatism stuff, probably without this coat, because believe it or not, it's quite warm in here. It's cold outside, but it's warm inside the house, and I'm roasting in here. Pretty soon you're going to see streams of sweat coming off my face, but before that happens, I'm going to end it. I'll see you guys in the next one.
จำพราก